guys, and welcome back to Kitchen Creations. Thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure having you in my kitchen. And to all of you who have not yet subscribed, please take a minute to hit that subscribe button. And of course, I look forward to hearing your comments as well as your likes. So today, since the holidays are right around the corner, I figured let's create a holiday meal. I'm not sure what's happening in your part of the world, but sometimes families can get together. You know, it's not like it used to be before, so we have to make the best of it. Today, we're going to create something that whether you have a gathering of 50 or just your immediate family, everyone will enjoy. So, let's get ready to cook. We are going to do a turkey breast with stuffing or a turkey roulade. I'm also going to do a mashed potatoes with some cream cheese. I'm going to do green beans almondine, and I'm going to make a sauce to go with our turkey dinner. So let's get ready to start with the turkey. What I've done with my turkey was I bought a turkey breast with the bone. I had to debone it, and what I did was season it overnight with some seasoning salt and garlic powder. It's just a little tricky, so now that we've got our turkey breast here, we now have to sort of create where we have everything nice and even. So we're going to kind of flatten it out. I've left the skin on this because the skin will help to keep it moist. So I think I should let you know while I'm preparing my turkey, I've already started with the potatoes. I'm going to add potatoes to my stuffing. I did a sweet potato and a regular potato. It is here on the stove, it's boiling, and I'm just going to let it cover. But guys, I've picked up these silicone lids, which is universal, but it's so amazing. You just put them on the pot. Doesn't matter what size pot you have. They come in different sizes. You put them on and it creates this vacuum, and it's almost, it's amazing. So if you get a chance, try those silicone lids. So I just want to let you guys see that I did debone the breast. I left the skin on, and now let's need to kind of count this out. So what I'm going to do is just try to keep all of the thickness the same throughout the turkey, so this way it cooks evenly. And then what we're going to do is pound it out to get it nice and flat. So here it's pretty even, and now we're going to move on to our next step. So I've lined my cutting board with the cling plastic wrap. I'm also going to put it on the top, and now we're just going to flatten with our mouth. You want to sort of push it out. Try to get it all the same thickness. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm mixing some butter with Italian seasoning or oregano, and this is what I'm going to use to kind of coat my turkey. So this way it'll be a nice and moist. Got some butter, and I'm adding 4 cloves of garlic to it. And it's about 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning or oregano, whichever you prefer. Make a nice mixture. So what we're going to do is salt our turkey first. And I'm just putting in, I would say, 1 tablespoon of salt. Now what I'm going to do is with a brush, or you can use it with your hand, just based on the mixture that we made. And it looks like I'm going to have to use my hands because it's not going on with my brush. And I am pretty happy with the coat of butter. And I'm going to let this sit while we prepare our stuffing. am now just chopping up some of my parsley, getting it all really finely chopped. And again, I'm doing this and it reminds me of back in the day when I used to actually help my mom make this actual stuffing. And I hated sitting there and having to chop the parsley, but I actually hated the onions even more because we would sit there, literally tears running down our cheeks while we're chopping onions. So let's go over our ingredients. I have about 3/4 of a cup of parsley. I have 1 finely chopped onion. I have some butter. I have actually 1 stick of butter. I did chopped up some celery, really finely chopped celery. I have about 3 cloves of garlic that I chopped. I have here 1/4 cup of dried cranberries, 1 cup of cooking wine, and 1/2 cup of chicken broth. And again, I have boiled some potatoes with sweet potatoes that I'm going to add. And I have about 2.5 cups of stuffing that I bought at my local supermarket. You guys can buy any brand that you want, any flavor you want. There's quite a few different flavors. There's some herbs, there's some garlic, there's cornbread. I'm going to add my butter and to the pan. While my butter starts melting, I'm adding my onions at the same time. You want to get a nice transparency on your onions. My onions have incorporated into my butter. It's nice. I'm going to now add the chopped celery. Stir it around, mix it all together. Now I'm going to add garlic, and my parsley. And get a nice mix and let it all saute together and get all their spices together. Now, what I'm going to do is add some salt at this point, because it'll get all your flavors combined. I added like 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I will add more salt as we move on. I'm going to let this cook for about 2 minutes before I move forward. And everything is pretty well incorporated at this time, so I'm going to keep adding my ingredients. Now I'm going to add my potatoes. What I have is 1/2 potato and 1/2 sweet potato. I'll add more as I move along. Incorporate everything well. I want to break up the potatoes a little bit. I'm going to add my cranberries. And now my stuffing. Breadcrumbs, actually. And now once you add your breadcrumbs, it's going to become a very dry. So we need to add liquid. That's why I've got my cooking wine. Adding my wine. And my chicken broth. I'm going to let everything incorporate pretty well. Again, I don't want big chunks of the potatoes because of the fact that when we go to stuff it, I want a really flat, even stuffing. So I'm going to let this simmer for a while, but before, let me add some salt to taste, because at this point, I really recommend that you taste while adding salt because there's salt in the different ingredients that we've used. So I'm gonna add about another teaspoon of salt, and if more is needed later on, we'll add more. I'm gonna let this simmer for a little bit and then we'll be back. So my stuffing is pretty much ready, and we're about ready. This gotta cool for a little bit, otherwise you're gonna burn your hands putting it on the turkey. Stuffing is ready, and we'll move on to the next step. So I've just tasted my stuffing, and I'm pretty satisfied with it, but I'm gonna add some cinnamon to just kick up that flavor a little bit. So I'm adding 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, mix, and I'm gonna allow it to cool for my stuffing. My stuffing is cool, so I'm gonna now add the stuffing to my turkey breast, and you can still see that it's been sitting here with the butter and all the seasoning, so it's really marinated and absorbed pretty well into the breast, and that'll keep it moist as well because turkey tends to dry out. So we're gonna give it a nice layering. So again, my tenderloins are here. I'm gonna start folding them over gently. And this is the reason why I put the plastic on as well, so it keeps the turkey from getting stuck to your board. And guys, you can wear gloves if you want, because this is a little sticky. I just keep washing my hands. And again, you can see that we have on here, we have the skin of the turkey, so that's going to help to keep it moist. Now, want to get it. And you're going to have stuff falling out, just keep tucking and rolling. On this here, on this end, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this over and there you go. So we've got a nice roll here, and let's go on to our next step. Okay, so this roll is pretty good at this point. So guess what? There's no way we can put this in the oven, so we need to tie it. So what I have is kitchen twine, and with the plastic still on the board, it's easy just to kind of slip under and pull it down. Get to the middle. Let's start at the middle first, and you're gonna give your first tie. And you wanna, there's going to be extra, but we'll take care of that later. Now, we want to keep supporting this, and we keep adding. I'm going to actually do like 5 pieces on this. And I'd like to get the end as well. So, I pre-cut my twine. You just have to average your pieces according to the roll. And then you keep tying. Like here on the end, I want to put all of this together, so I'm holding it together, and then I am going to put my twine. So I have my kitchen twine on here, so what I'm going to do is cut off all the excess. And I decided to put another piece across just to keep it supported, so my stuffing don't fall out of my turkey. So just cut off all the excess. And our roll is pretty much done. Remember, the remainder of the butter is now going to go on here. I'm going to add a little more salt to give a nice flavor to the turkey skin. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add some ingredients to the pan to create a sauce, a base, which will help keep the moisture in our turkey, because turkey dries out really fast. So I have leek. I'm going to finely chop this leek. I'm not putting the stalk, I'm just using about half of the stem of the leek. And I want to take it and separate everything. Once it's all separated, I have here some dill that I'm gonna just chop up. And 4 leaves of sage that I'm just gonna chop here. So mix it all together. So what I'm going to do is add everything to the base of my pan. And to that I'm going to add half a cup of cooking wine and a cup of chicken broth. So it's going to create a bath, more or less, for the turkey. And I'm going to place a cooling rack on top, and then I'm going to put my turkey on top of this. Okay, so let's go on the tray. So what I'm actually going to do is outsmart this turkey and pick it up by the twine, and let's hope this works. And actually, here we go. I have a little stuffing that fell out, but we're pretty good. I can baste a little bit more butter on it. I need some butter here. And we're ready to go in the oven. But before I do that, I think I'm going to add a little of that crushed black pepper that I did earlier, just to kind of give that really nice flavor to this. And we're going to go in the oven for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours at 370 degrees. But we're going to keep checking just in case. So my turkey's in the oven. It's going to go for maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours at 370 degrees. But we got to keep checking on it to make sure it doesn't dry out. We want to get it the inside temperature to 165, which means it's all cooked. And again, I'm saving my butter here. We're going to keep basting as we move along. While the turkey's in the oven, let us continue with our next dishes, which are the mashed potatoes, the green beans almondine, and then I'm going to make a sauce that goes with the entire dish. So let's continue. Okay, let's move on to our next dish, our mashed potatoes. My potatoes, I boiled 6 golden potatoes. And you get it to where it's pretty soft. And you want to do this while the potatoes are still warm or hot, because this way everything incorporates really well. I mash my potatoes first before adding all the other ingredients. So just give it a good mash, get all the lumps out. My potatoes are mashed, so let's now prepare everything else to go into here. So I'm going to add I have 2 cups of milk here. I'm going to add half of it now, and I'll decide whether or not I need more as we move along, based on the consistency of the potatoes. That's 1 cup. To that I'm going to add half a stick of butter, if it would come out, and 4 ounces, and I'm adding 4 ounces of cream cheese. It's all got to incorporate together into the butter, let everything melt. And once it's melted, we can move on to the next. My butter and cream cheese have fully melted into the milk, and we will now move on to creating the rest of this. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get our mixer out, pour our mixer in here, and we're going to add gradually the mixture that we have here with the milk. Turn on our mix, and let's start little at a time. And guys, it's hot, so be careful. There seems to be some lumps in my potatoes, but I can't get them out. Sometimes that happens with potatoes, so next time I'm gonna have to try a different type of potato. So I'm just gonna add black pepper, which I crushed myself. 1 teaspoon of black pepper because it gives such a beautiful flavor, and I'm gonna add salt to taste. I would estimate 1 tablespoon of salt. Keep mixing. So my mashed potatoes is done. Now, I just want to let you guys know that I didn't use all my liquid because my potatoes was a little wet. Again, you guys have to play around with how much liquid you add. You don't want it to be too, if you add too much liquid, you're gonna have like a big old slush. So, play around with how much liquid we add. If you want more cream cheese, instead of using 4 ounces, you can use 8 ounces. It's all up to you. So, our mashed potatoes done. So while I move on to my next dish, I'm gonna use my silicone lids, which are so great. And it actually creates a vacuum to keep everything nice and keeps it warm as well as moist. So our mashed potatoes are done, and let's move on to the next step. I have here 8 ounces of fresh cranberries. I'm just gonna throw them into the pot. I have a cup and a half of sugar. I'm just gonna pour that in here. And I have 1 cup of cranberry and pomegranate juice. Pour that in there. We're gonna let it simmer and let it get thick. And I'm gonna add half a teaspoon of cinnamon to it. And just let it all mix, simmer on a low stove until it all gets to a pretty thick paste. So I just want you guys to see what's happening here with our cranberries. Be careful because they tend to pop. So stay away from them, keep them on a medium to low heat, and just let it simmer until we want it to get thick. And eventually I'll start crushing them down. And my cranberry sauce is nice, and you can see, if you get it, I'm not sure if you can see it, it's pretty thick. You want to let it cool for a little bit, and it's your homemade cranberry sauce with the pomegranate. So I just finished cleaning my green beans, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to steam them. So my water is hot. I'm going to let them just sit in the hot water for 2 minutes, and then you're going to put them into a cold bath. So let's just get going with that, and we'll be back to finish this dish. It's a really simple dish, but it's very tasty. Okay, so my beans are done, which I just let them steam for about 2 minutes in really hot water, and then pour them out into a cold water bath. So now let's put this together. This is a really simple dish to make, but it's really tasty. So about 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to let my butter dissolve, melt. To that I'm going to add 3 cloves of garlic. Butter and garlic is such a great combination. And this is a really simple but really tasty dish. I love this at the holidays, during the holidays. My butter is all incorporated. My garlic is now getting flavored into the butter, and I'm gonna just give it a few more minutes. You don't want to burn the garlic. You just want to keep a nice. Now we're gonna add. I'm adding 1/4 cup of almonds. And I'm now going to throw in my beans, string beans. Give it a nice stir. Incorporate everything, get it all coated with the butter and the garlic. We're going to add some salt to taste. I would 1½ teaspoon of salt. Give it a mix, and I'm going to use the remainder of my crushed pepper, which is just a pinch. Give it a mix, and that's all there is to this dish. You do not want to leave this on the stove. Once it's done, please remove it. And we are done. So now that our beans are done, and I have my sauce on the stove, it's going to simmer for a little bit more. I'm going to check on my turkey, and at this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to baste it again with some more of the butter and herbs that we created earlier. I think our turkey is done. Let me take it off the rack, place it, and then we'll put the meal together. It looks really good, smells really great. I can't wait to slice into this. I'm just gonna give it one last brush with the butter. So I've transferred my turkey onto a dish. And guys, let's remember to cut the twine. It's not edible. Let's cut this off. So I'm going to remove all my strings. And let's put this holiday meal together. So let's cut into this slowly. What it looks like. You never know what's gonna happen once you cut this thing, but let's hope it's what we're looking for. And there we have it. So we've got a slice of our turkey. Let's add some of our green beans. I want to get some of the almonds on it. And next, our mashed potatoes. Let's add our cranberry sauce to it. Keep our plate nice and neat. I'm going to add some of my gravy. And I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of gravy onto my mashed potatoes. And there we have it. Holiday meal. Okay, so let's have a little taste here. I'm gonna try the stuffing with a piece of turkey, and I can tell you right away this turkey is really nice and moist, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we added the butter on the inside. Wow. And I'm not a big fan of turkey, but this is really good. Let's try the potatoes. You get that slight hint of the cream cheese, but it's not overwhelming. If you want more cream cheese, you can add double the amount of cream cheese that I added. And beans, cooked, nice crunch, delicious. And now just try a little bit of the compote. Love it. It's sweet, but yet with the cranberry you have a little bit of that tang, so it's beautiful together with the meal. I'm not really a big fan of cranberry sauce from the can, but this is delicious. So for all of you, I recommend trying this as an alternative to cranberry sauce this year. It's beautiful. It's really, really, really good. I'm actually going in for more. So simple holiday meal. Add a salad to it and we're set for the holidays. So guys, I know because of what's going on in the world in the last couple of years, things are different this year. Maybe we won't have a large gathering as we normally do for the holidays, but it's still about sharing special times with families, and we have to make the best of it. So this is an alternative. We don't need a full large turkey, so here we have the turkey breast with the stuffing incorporated into the breast, and it's actually really, 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 really good. This is something I recommend. It's something that you gather together as a family and share a wonderful meal together. Again, cooking is about sharing an experience with your family. When you all sit together and enjoy that meal and have a wonderful conversation, it's all worth it. So, as always, I thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to our next cooking adventure together. Let's see what I come up with for our next episode. And as always, I'm asking you guys to keep safe, be happy, keep cooking, and have a wonderful, happy, safe holiday. Cheers.